Good morning to everyone. Today we are going to learn about the synthesis of alkanes. Different method we can follow, and in previous class we have started with the alkanes and we have found out the alkanes naming. Not really, because in the previous classes we have learned about the namings, but in last class we have learned about the structure and occurrence and basic idea about the alkanes. Today we will be learning about the synthesis. That means how we can prepare alkanes. We can use different types of mechanisms or reactions. So one by one we will learn what are they. First, we have several methods. Today I will be focused on only four different methods: hydrogenation of alkenes and alkynes, then decarboxylation of carboxylic acids, reduction of alkyl halides, and then I will try to teach about the reduction of alcohols or aldehydes or ketones or carboxylic acids. That are four different methods we can follow. We will follow today because we have more methods so that we can synthesis alkanes from different types of reactants, or sometimes you can change the reactants, also the reaction conditions, depending on whatever the process we are applying. So let's start from the beginning, and the simplest one. Alkanes are considered, or alkanes are known as saturated hydrocarbons. So saturated hydrocarbons, and here we are using alkenes and alkynes that are unsaturated hydrocarbons. So it is very simple that you can understand. If you can add some hydrogen atoms to the alkenes or alkynes, then you can get the alkanes. So before starting, we want to see just general some idea. The first five members of the alkane series can be obtained in the pure form by fractional distillation of petroleum and natural gas. In last class we have mentioned that the natural gas or oil we can get in the mines, and this is the most abundant or mostly available source of alkanes. And if you do the fractional distillation, are you familiar with the fractional distillation? Do you know about the
Yes, sir.
fractional okay, then can you tell me something regarding that? What is the idea behind the distillation, that means fractional distillation?
To separate different kind of substances.
Yes, by which? By separation. This is fractional
Boiling
distillation.
point.
Yes, exactly. The based on their boiling point. So now we will see first few members. That means at least first five members have a gap, a big gap between their boiling points. But as we increase the size of the carbon or size of the carbon ring, then the difference between the boiling point decrease quite a lot. Therefore it is very close to each other. Therefore in that case it is not a good idea to use the fractional distillation. So that what happens, if you try to separate say two components, one can go into another one, because if they have the similar boiling point, in that case two different component can come out together. But in case of first few members, first five members, their boiling point are quite different, so that if you try to separate one component then it will take first it will completely take out, or it will go evaporate, and then we can find out next component based on their boiling point or higher boiling point. So by this way, or by fractional distillation, we can separate the 5 or first 5 members of the alkane series, but for higher method or higher carbon atoms or alkane containing more than 5 carbons, it is very difficult to separate by fractional distillation. So consequently, it is not practical to isolate pure higher alkanes from petroleum fractions or fractional distillation. So in that case, we have to use several other methods. So one by one we'll learn. So let's go from the beginning. So hydrogenation of alkenes and alkynes. As I have mentioned that alkenes and alkynes are unsaturated hydrocarbon. That means it has some double bond or triple bond inside between two carbons. But alkane is a saturated hydrocarbon which have only single bond. Now if you have a compound containing one double bond, but you need to have single bond for making an alkane, therefore you need to think a way that you can add something so that you can take out here. Let us see, you have a double bond, but in case of alkane you should have a single bond. So if you can add something both the carbons containing the double bond, that means you can add one component to this and to this. So by this way you can make the unsaturated compound saturated. So if you want to make hydrocarbon or sorry alkane, in that case you need to add one hydrogen to this, another hydrogen to this, and that will give a saturation because there will be only one single bond in between this carbon and this carbon and no double bond or triple bond. If we have triple bond, then we need to add two hydrogen atoms to this carbon and two hydrogen atoms to this carbon. So by this way it is the simplest method so that we can have the alkanes from unsaturated hydrocarbons. But addition of hydrogen is very simple. You need to apply some conditions. That means normally this rate of this reaction is very slow at room temperature, and if you do not add any catalyst, in that case the reaction rate is very slow. So actually we are learning, we are doing a study different types of anything to make more benefit. That means we want to spend short time and we want to get more products. That is our ultimate goal, so that we are studying. Many people may know these types of reaction, but they do not know how to increase the process or how to increase the product. So just you are learning the biotechnology, biochemistry, whatever. Some people learning computer science, and everything is measured by the productivity. And also nowadays we are learning objective based learning. Huh? So what is our target? You need to think about what is your target. You can get some product if you do not use these types of conditions or catalyst. However, that is not very good process. So how you can improve the quality and quantity? So to improve the quantity and quality, you can add some catalyst and also increase the temperature of the system so that the rate of the reaction becomes fast, and so that you can get many products out of this reaction within very short time. So alkanes are formed by passing a mixture of an unsaturated hydrocarbon and hydrogen. This is our unsaturated hydrocarbon and hydrogen gas over finely divided nickel at 200 to 300 degrees Celsius. Alkanes produced has the same member of carbon. That means here if you have a compound containing three carbon atoms. Let us consider this is also methyl. So if you have as many number of carbons in the reactant, you will get exactly the same number of carbon in the product. So just addition of hydrogen will not increase the number of carbons. So if you need to synthesize, or if you need to have a alkane containing exact number of carbon, so in that case you can follow this method. But sometime we may need to increase the size of the carbon or number of carbon, or sometime you may have a compound alkane or some carboxylic acid. In that case you need to you may need a smaller hydrocarbon or a smaller alkane. In that case, if you follow this method, that will not work, because this process is applicable where you can get the exact number of carbon was in the reactants. So for here ethene, if you add hydrogen in the presence of nickel finely, that means this is can be a powder, nickel powder at 200 to 300 degrees Celsius, then you can get ethane. Just this is the general example, and this is one significant example. That is same, just reaction condition and the temperature you need to, or catalyst you need to remember. So this is the simplest method, so that we can have the alkanes from unsaturated hydrocarbons like alkene or alkynes. So if we have alkynes, in that case you need to add 2 moles of hydrogen. That means 2 moles of hydrogen that contain 4 hydrogen atoms. So if you want to have one single bond in between these two carbons, in that case you need to take out, or you need to add 2 hydrogen for this carbon and 2 hydrogen for this carbon. That means 4 hydrogen atom is needed. Therefore 4 hydrogen can be found from 2 moles of hydrogen. So by this way, if you have exactly similar way, just pass the unsaturated hydrocarbon and hydrogen mixture, hydrogen gas mixture, over a nickel or finely divided nickel or nickel powder at 200 to 300 degrees Celsius, then you can have the alkanes. Other catalysts which can be used are palladium and platinum. Actually this palladium and platinum both are very expensive. Nickel not so very expensive. Platinum is considered more expensive than gold. So if you have a platinum ring, that is very expensive. So this type of reaction we can perform, but these catalysts are very expensive, so these types of catalysts are not very often used, but sometime you can use if you have. Since alkenes and alkynes are obtained in large quantities by the cracking of petroleum, that means by uh, cracking of different types of petroleum oils, so this method is used for industrial preparation of alkanes. That means as you have lot of alkenes and alkynes, when you have different types of long chain hydrocarbons, from this you can have different types of components of alkenes and alkynes by cracking or pyrolysis. We can use these two words. That means when we have a very big compound or big hydrocarbon, then we can decompose by heating, or by that process is known as pyrolysis or cracking. So when a alkane is cracked or decomposed, that time you can have many alkenes and alkynes, at least 2 or 3 sometimes, depending on how many carbon atoms contain in the alkane. Therefore if you do the pyrolysis of a hydrocarbon or alkane, in that case you can have some alkenes and alkynes, and that is mostly found in industrial process. That means from alkane we are getting alkenes and alkynes. This is our side product from some pyrolysis. So that is obtained quite a lot. So if you want to further synthesis, or if you want to further prepare alkanes of very small component or a small carbon containing a small carbon or less carbon, therefore you can use these types of methods. That means addition of hydrogen or hydrogenation. Hydration and hydrogenation, these are two different words. You need to remember hydrogenation and hydration. Hydration, that means addition of water, and hydrogenation, that means addition of hydrogen. So this is the process what we can use, and mostly used for industrial process to get lot of alkanes from alkenes or alkynes. Decarboxylation of carboxylic acids. If you have a carboxylic acid, that means you can add some base. Normally you are familiar with the reaction, neutralization reaction. So from neutralization reaction you can have a salt. Very simply, just you can have the inorganic acid and inorganic base. Similarly, you can have an organic acid and then some base. By reacting this organic acid and base, they can form a salt. So if you have a organic acid, salt of organic acid, this is a salt of organic acid that is mainly prepared from the organic acid and some base. So when the sodium salt of a carboxylic acid, this is the carboxylic acid, is heated strongly with soda lime. What is soda lime? Soda lime is a mixture of sodium hydroxide and calcium oxide. So now if you heat this sodium hydroxide and calcium oxide, that means the mixture of sodium hydroxide and calcium oxide, which is known as soda lime. Now if you heat the mixture of soda lime and the sodium salt of carboxylic acid, in that case what happens? This COO, this COO, this part and this Na, just completely you can consider up to this part, taken away by the NaO. So overall what we are getting, just consider Na2Na we have, that means you will get Na2 and carbonate. How many oxygen here? 1, 2 and 3. So that will give you, just if I would show like this way using a line that is going out, shape fill, no fill, so we will use the line. So here you can see this part is combining together and this hydrogen is coming to this R. So we are getting, this is our alkane and this is our sodium carbonate. Now in previous example or previous method, we have found that the number of carbon containing the reactant exactly same what found in the product for addition reaction with hydrogen and unsaturated hydrocarbon. But here you can see one thing, here the number of carbon has been decreased by 1, which has been found as carbonate. That means overall from here you have reduced a carbon dioxide molecule, and this is sodium oxide and sodium. So overall we are getting sodium carbonate, but from this molecule That means from the salt of sodium salt of carboxylic acid, we are reducing one carbon. So by this way, if you need to prepare a alkane having one less, one carbon less, in that case you can follow this method. So first take the carboxylic acid and then add some base so that you can get the salt of that carboxylic acid. Then you can add the soda lime and heat up. This is our soda lime. Actually the soda lime, the calcium oxide part do not participate in the reaction. So this is the mixture of, that means sodium hydroxide. Actually I have mentioned here sodium hydroxide, but actually that should be mixture of sodium hydroxide and calcium oxide, but the sodium part reacts and calcium oxide part do not react. So by this way we can have the alkane containing one carbon less compared to the reactant. Okay, so here you can see some more examples, or a specific example: sodium acetate CH3COONA. This is the salt of sodium, that means acetic acid, salt of acetic acid with sodium. So sodium acetate, when reacting with soda lime, that means, and heating, if you heat the mixture of soda lime and sodium salt of carboxylic acid, then you are getting, that was ethanoic acid. From then we found sodium acetate, so it had two carbon atoms, but here we are getting only one carbon containing alkane. So here, taking from the original acid, the above reaction could be represented as just like this way. If you consider the reaction from the beginning, so directly we can get RCOOH getting RH plus carbon dioxide. So overall from carboxylic acid you are reducing a carbon dioxide molecule. Therefore, this process is considered as decarboxylation. Removing of one molecule of carbon dioxide or removing of carbon dioxide is considered as the decarboxylation. So, sometime I may mention how to synthesize the alkanes from carboxylic acid, or I can mention that mention the decarboxylation reaction, or why this reaction is called as decarboxylation. In that case you need to mention that from the beginning of the reaction, that means from carboxylic acid we are getting an alkane by removal of one molecule of carbon dioxide. So the overall reaction, that means, removes or decreases 1 mole of carbon dioxide. Therefore the reaction is known as, or reaction can be renamed as, decarboxylation reaction. So decarboxylation, because one molecule of carbon dioxide is removed or taken away, therefore this process is known as decarboxylation. Reduction of alkyl halides. So you have a compound like this RX, or methyl iodide, ethyl iodide, or whatever. So if you have a compound containing halogen to the alkyl group, in that case if you have some reducing agent, so if you can remove this X to somewhat, so in that case you can have that the CH3, so RX. Here if you, when reduced with nascent hydrogen, actually the nascent hydrogen comes from some reducing agent. So here we can have different types of reducing agent. This Cl should be in a smaller. Okay, so if you add some reducing agent, that will give you a nascent hydrogen. So by that way we can have different types of reducing agents such as zinc and hydrochloric acid. What will happen in that case? Zinc chloride and hydrogen, that means nascent hydrogen, 2H, and we will find out. Similarly, alcohol plus sodium, so that will give you C2H5Na plus H. So we can have different types of reducing agent. So our target is to generate the nascent hydrogen. That means nascent hydrogen, that means this is very powerful hydrogen. Sometime we will produce some nascent oxygen. That means in that case if we add some oxidizing agent, sometime you will have the reaction between what potassium dichromate, sulfuric acid. So actually that is our target, to generate some oxidizing agent. Sorry, after addition of oxidizing agent we will have the nascent oxygen, which is very reactive, so that can react with some other components which are not reactive at room temperature or something. So this is our alkyl halide. So if you can add some alkyl halide to or with nascent hydrogen, in that case the one hydrogen can replace the X, and that will give you the alkane. So when reduced with nascent hydrogen, alkyl halides are converted directly to the corresponding alkanes. So here you can have exactly the same number of carbon what was in the reactant. So for a specific example, methyl iodide reacting with nascent hydrogen to form methane and hydrogen iodide. So the reaction occurs best with iodides and bromides. Sorry, iodides, bromides and chlorides, and fluorides being less reactive. So one thing, this reacts with mostly for the iodides and bromides, and chlorides and fluorides do not react very well because they are little bit less reactive. So in case of iodide and bromide, they react little bit more or better way compared to the chloride and fluoride, because in the periodic table they have the reactivity. Sometimes electron affinity for fluoride and chloride is more compared to bromide and iodide. However, this is some substitution reaction. So in that case the reactivity will be little bit less for the fluorine and chlorine. So the reaction occurs best with iodides and bromides, chlorides and fluorides being less reactive. So the hydrogen for the reduction may be obtained by employing any of the following. As I have mentioned that we can have different types of reducing agents: lithium aluminum hydrate, and then hydrogen iodide phosphorus, that can be red phosphorus, or alcohol plus sodium, zinc or hydrochloric acid. Our main target is to get the nascent hydrogen. We can add any of them, which one is available or which one is less costly, and we can get more product out of it. Hydrogen gas and catalyst nickel, platinum, palladium may also be used. That means you need to get the nascent hydrogen. So whatever you can use by this, reaction in all cases occurs smoothly at room temperature. So for whatever, if we add any of the reducing agent to the reaction, so you can get the nascent hydrogen, so that you can get the reaction at room temperature. So you don't need to heat to synthesis alkanes from this method. But to generate this nascent hydrogen using this reducing agent, that can be a little bit expensive. However, we can get the product by this way, containing the exact number of carbon what was in the reactant. Okay, the reduction of alcohols, aldehydes, ketones and carboxylic acids. Reduction of alcohols, aldehydes, ketones and carboxylic acid, almost exactly same thing what we have learned here. We need to add some reducing agent to get the nascent hydrogen. So here we have different components: alcohols, aldehydes, ketones, carboxylic acids. So our main target to reduce the additional component what was or what is in the alcohol, aldehyde, ketone or carboxylic acid. So we want to remove that part, functional group part, and we want to add some hydrogen to this. So by this way, what we can do: hot concentrated hydroiodic acid, hot concentrated hydroiodic acid in combination with red phosphorus reduces oxygenated compounds like alcohols, aldehydes, ketones, carboxylic acids to form the respective alkanes. That means in the this one reduction of alkyl halides, we had to add some hydrogen sorry, and just take away the halogen. But these compounds, alcohols, aldehydes, ketones, carboxylic acid, all of them contain oxygen. So we need to add something so that it can take away the oxygen molecule or oxygen atom. So by this way we can add some hydroiodic acid and red phosphorus to get the so what will happen in that case? We will find out, or we can take this oxygen to form water. Here you can see we can have the, this is an alcohol. So when we are adding phosphorus and, red phosphorus by heating up to around 150 degrees Celsius, in that case the reaction proceeds by this one of the hydrogen is coming to this, and this OH is taken away by one hydrogen to form water molecule. So by this way we can reduce the OH group. So our target is to reduce the OH group to form some water. So here you can see we are getting water, and the rest of the part iodine, the iodine is getting as a side product. So our main target to reduce the oxygen containing functional group. So in previous one we had used the just reduction of Rx, that means we need to reduce the X or halide group so that we can get the, or we can substitute the halogen with some hydrogen. So here you need to substitute the OH group using some hydrogen, but to reduce this oxygen containing functional group or that function, you need to add some different reducing agent, red phosphorus and hydroiodic acid. So by this way we can have the alcohol containing compound giving alkane. Some other examples, this is our aldehyde. So if you have some aldehyde, then you can add similar thing, hydroiodic acid. So you have what you need to do here, this aldehyde. So you need to take away this oxygen. So how you can do that? For oxygen you need to have, or you need to replace this aldehyde or OH or aldehydic OH. So completely we need to remove this, and then we need to add some CH3 group. So other way we can say that we need to add two hydrogen in replace of this oxygen. So what we need? We need to have 4 hydrogen, because to make a water molecule out of this oxygen you need to have 2 hydrogen atoms, and as you are removing the oxygen you need to have, or you need to add more 2 hydrogen atoms in this place. Therefore, you need 2 hydrogen atoms to add and 2 hydrogen for making water. Therefore, you need to add 4 hydrogen. Here you can see we have 4 hydrogen, and as side product we are getting 2 molecules of iodine. So reaction condition same. We are adding the mixture of aldehyde and with the hydroiodic acid in the presence of red phosphorus and heating up to 150 degrees Celsius. That time we will get some alkane containing the same number of carbon. Exactly here acetaldehyde you are getting ethane, 2 carbon 2 carbon, and then we had added 4 hydrogen, that means 4 hydroiodic acid. So we are getting 1 water and 2 hydrogen coming from here to this to occupy these 2 valency. Therefore we are getting ethane. Even if you add ketone, that also if you use ketone or carboxylic acid, exactly similar way you can have the alkane. So in case of ketone, here we have shown that you have to add 2 hydrogen atoms. So in case of ketone, exactly same thing, you have to add 2 hydrogen atoms here. So same thing, 4 hydrogen iodide, 4 hydrogen iodide, here we also use it. So in ketone, in that case the addition will be at the carbon where the oxygen was. So the addition, so the number of carbon in the reactant will be exactly same as the number of number of carbon in the product. So same reaction, acetone, ketone, whatever I say, and for carboxylic acid same thing. But now in case of alcohol we had to add only 2 hydrogen. We had to add 2 hydrogen. For aldehyde or ketone we had to add 4 hydrogen or 4 hydroiodic acid. But in case of carboxylic acid we have 2 oxygen atoms already in the reactant. In that case you need to prepare 2 molecules of water and you need to add 2 hydrogens. So overall you need to have 6 hydrogen iodide, and the condition is little bit different. Red phosphorus is there, but the temperature need to be raised little bit more. Previously it was 150 and now we are adding the temperature 200 to 250 degrees Celsius. So the effective reducing agent is the hydroiodic acid. The red phosphorus merely reacts with the iodine produced in the reaction to regenerate hydrogen iodide, which is reused phosphorus iodine and react to water hydroiodic acid. So we are getting H3PO3. So this method is particularly important for the preparation of higher alkanes from carboxylic acids obtained by the hydrolysis of fats. So if you have some fatty acid or some fat, as a biochemist you will be very familiar with different types of fatty acids or some esters or some other things. So the fatty acids are very long chain carboxylic acid. Therefore if you have some fatty acids, in that case you can have these types of alkanes. If you need very long chain carbon or long chain alkane, in that case you can use these methods. So previously what we have mentioned, pyrolysis, cracking, whatever, that can be used for the synthesis of very small carbon containing compounds or maximum around carbon up to 5. So later we have seen some other process where the number of carbon is increasing or decreasing. So still I didn't show you the number of carbon increasing, but later we will show. So today I am not going to show you all of them. Today this is the end of class. If you have any question or comment regarding this, so you are welcome.